All right, let's go. If you're tired of not feeling fit, tired of just not having a focus, tired of just not having the financial resources that you deserve, this is your place to be. I'm Jason Yarusi, and this is the Live 100 podcast, the place you come to break the habits that no longer serve you so you can get the momentum to live the life that you deserve. And before we get started, I put together this free assessment. You can go over to jasonuniversity.com. It's a free assessment that you can see where you stand on your Live 100 journey today so you can get your starting line, the most important part. But today I want to dive in to the zoo and the jungle. And, my daughter just went on a field trip, right? She just turned 8. She went on a field trip with her school to the Nashville Zoo. And, we love going to the zoo. I have this affinity for rhinos, right? My first bulldog, Jack, right? I named Jack the Rhino, which became the parent company for our brewery, Jack the Rhino Brewery. And Jack actually had a lot of other characteristics. And I just thought of Jack because he was this huge, mongering bulldog. He would just go in there into full effect, just slamming into everything. And he just always resembled, even though he was a bulldog, a rhino for me. But I think, in fact, is that you go to the zoo and you have exposure to all of these animals that are all across the world, right? That possibly if you were just to be here in, let's say, Nashville, you wouldn't actually see. You wouldn't see zebras or you wouldn't see the rhinos, right? But in fact, you go to this zoo and you see these animals not in their actual natural habitat, but encaged, right? And in one part, it's amazing to be able to have access to them, but in two, you understand that they're always going to live in this environment, and if they got out of this environment, was put back into their other environment, most notably, they probably wouldn't last. And I think about ourselves here, right? Are we merely existing in the comfort of the zoo, or are we looking to thrive in the chaos of the jungle? And you have to ask yourself, right? You have to ask yourself of just where is the differences between just moving out into chaos and living in comfort? Now, there is that part of us that wants that comfort, that wants that support, that wants to have the ability to live in an environment where everything is just predetermined or preordained, right? You can put it. But then on the other side, right, we have the jungle, right? And the jungle symbolizes challenges, risks, uncertainties of just stepping outside of our comfort zone. But in its own realm, the jungle offers the opportunities for growth, for self-discovery, for pushing boundaries. And I always thought about myself, right? You go to school and you follow the format and you do the lines, you do the things, you do the steps, you go take the classes, you get the grades, you go, do the interviews to get the job, to be able to buy the house, to be able to live in a certain town, to be able to go, work at the job for a number of years so you can get the retirement account set up and get your retirement bonus so you can go and start living your life. Well, is that truly the path forward that you want? Do you want to put off your life so you can follow some process of having some systematic approach, which may seem comforting, put and installed for you so that can be your next decades? Because if you look at it, the zoo represents safety, comfort, familiarity, and it offers the security and the predictability. But it comes many times at the cost of freedom, of creativity, of potential. But it's hard to break outside that comfort. I think of myself as that my comfort was in not trying, right? Was in not going out there to do different things. Even if you look at me, I have now done a lot of things, right? I've been able to grow a lot of businesses, to make a lot of money in real estate, to be able to go do 100-mile races. But there was a time, there was a place of me where I would say, well, maybe I'll do that next week, or that's just not for a person like me. And I look back at that and I say, well, I was really living in the zoo. I was looking at what was comfortable. I was seeing what other people were doing and was saying, well, that must be the way because that's what everybody else is doing. But if you look at the pattern out there, there's a lot of people that are not happy with where they are. And if you would put percentages on those, a lot of those people are following a track that was provided to them as the way, right? As the way. It's like, you get back to the matrix, like the blue pill, right? Or the red pill, right? So you have the one pill, which you know what the path is. You already know what the outcome is. Or you have the other pill that gives you the opportunity of the unknown. How scary is the unknown? I'll ask the question in the inverse for you. If you were to ask yourself, how scary is it to stay on the path you are right now? Because then any other path besides the path you're on may give you the opportunity for a better future forward. And I think about this, right? And I think about my own personal stage of where I was. And I found myself that there's different levels of comfort. I remember, working in this bar, right? That was a level of comfort, right? It was what I knew, what I know, right? What I had, right? And so going to work, that was my level of comfort. And to leave that, right? Oh man, like to leave that, right? I was thinking, when I was playing college football, to stop doing that, or like to not be that person again, right? I think of people who are Olympic athletes, right? And then when they stop, right, they have to leave their comfort. Now, you have to ask yourself, right? What are the benefits and the drawbacks of both worlds? And the benefits of the jungle is you have the ability to have growth, to just gain strength and resiliency, and just be able to adapt to the unknown. And you get to learn and embrace the uncertainty as a path to new opportunities. Ask yourself where you are today. Was this perfectly laid out, or was there adjustments you had to make along the way? Even if you try to follow the perfect track, you still have those wild cards that came up there to change your path. Some of the drawbacks of going out there and living in the jungle is that there's a lot of risk, right? There's the fear of the unknown. There's the constant adaptation, right? On the other hand, the benefits of the zoo, you have security, stability, comfort, right? You have, when your food's coming, you know when every meal is going to be there, that you'll have a safe, secure place to live each and every night. And it's a predictable environment that you can just be familiar with and know what to expect. You don't have to sleep with one eye open every night. You don't have to, for us, as entrepreneurs, you don't have to, wake up in the middle of the night with just fears, concerns, just things like, I remember days of just like, how are we going to make payroll, or how are we going to make to the next point, or how are we going to get through this next, black swan event that would happen in our business, right? Well, you don't have that when you live in a zoo. You go to work at 9, you leave at 6, you turn your phone off on the weekends, and you live your life. But the drawbacks of the zoo is that you're limited on growth, right? There's a certain point where there's more of you to offer, but you don't allow yourself to truly come out. There's stagnation where you're stuck, right? You're stuck in a pattern, right? Where it's like that movie with Bill Murray, Groundhog's Day, where the same day repeats and repeats and repeats. And he tries to, at one part he goes down on a downward trajectory, and then slowly he starts to create a better day for himself each and every day. Well, many of us, we live ourselves in Groundhog's Day, the repeated day each and every day that we just do and do and do again. And then we can't understand why we're not anywhere closer to where our minds tell us we should be, which leads us into the last drawback of the zoo, is that lack of fulfillment. And yeah, are you fulfilled right now? And are you living yourself in a caged environment, maybe mentally or spiritually or physically, right? Are you not breaking out of your pattern to give yourself a better you? And it could be all capacities. Your mind could be the cage you're in, right? The fear you're seeing is something that could be within you. So how can we transition? How can we step ourselves if we want to explore, we want to break out from the zoo to the jungle, right? Well, all risk come with assessment. You have to, instead of just saying, well, when I go, live in the wild, let me jump on my motorcycle and, put a guitar on my back and start driving across South America. That's not what we're talking about if you're going to live in the jungle. Is that we're going to start to take calculated risks that are not truly deemed impulsive, because they're something that we've thought through, the plus and the minuses. But we start to understand that the positives of taking this risk far outshine the negatives. Next is that the step-by-step challenges. You start with daily habits and you push yourself outside the comfort zone. I'll give you 2 things that you can do right now that I guarantee not all of you will do, but they're so simple. Tomorrow, I want you to brush your teeth with your non-dominant hand. So if you're right-handed, brush your teeth with your left-handed. You know what that's going to do is going to have to make you do something that you're uncomfortable with and have to stick to it, and also will put your mind into a thinking pattern. Next, I want you to go and look in the mirror and say, I have everything I need. Today is my day and I can do this. I guarantee 99% of people won't do that. But those 2 simple things to step yourself outside the comfort zone by trying something new, or by trying something you don't do day in, day out, allows your mind to start exploring and start understanding that there is a different way. Next is to emphasize the importance of mental and emotional strength in navigating the jungle-like situation. I push myself hard working out, and I work out daily, right? I do this. I woke up at 2:30 in the morning the other day so I could work out before I had to go to Atlanta to apartment committees, right? I have to do this because this is my resilience training, because I know that the struggle of me not doing it is worse than me doing it. So how are you pressing yourself forward? What are you doing to engage your mind? What are you doing to continue to strengthen and fortify your brain, continue to strengthen and fortify your body? And then seek others around you that are like-minded. You're not on this journey alone. It can feel very alone when you're an entrepreneur going out there into the universe, or you're someone who wants to step outside of your core group of what you've done. It feels very alone because you're going to step away from people that are in the zoo, right? So that's being out there in the jungle. But there are other people, right? Just like the zoo, there's a wealth of information of others out there into the universe. So you have this choice. Are you going to just survive out there in the jungle? Or are you going to exist in the zoo? For me, I've taken the nonlinear path. And what's afforded me is, yes, I have brought on, right, a tremendous amount of different circumstances and induced distress, as you can say that. But with that, it's created growth. It's created the ability for me to go out there and seek a bigger future. I look at the life I have, with my wife and our 3 kids, our 3 dogs, or now, what are we up to? 12 chickens, right? And I look at this and I could have never imagined having this life a decade ago. I was in such a far world away, both mentally, physically, and emotionally. But it was through one step that creates 2 steps, that creates 3 steps, that I started to create the momentum. I started to create the habits. I started to create the discipline. That I started to create the perseverance that allowed me to get 1 positive result, led to by 2 positive results, 3 positive results. And now, step after step, it's led me to where I are today. But I'm not finished. I'm out here in the jungle because, as the jungle is, right, you either eat or you're being eaten. And now this is a whole different episode. That doesn't mean that you have to go out there and be nasty or be unkind. Just you have to understand the universe is that you have to go out there and continue to produce, continue to improve, continue to be a better person in your society. So ask yourself today, what can you do to just go and reflect on your current life situation? And if you could, why don't you share those thoughts and tag me on social media? Let me know what you're doing in part of yourself today to go change your circumstances, go change your outcome, go change your output, go change your you have every opportunity available to go and be better. But today is going to start with you. One step at a time to become yourself, who you truly, truly, truly deserve to be. Live your 100. Take action. Break the habits that no longer serve you. Go find your jungle. Go out there. Seek the future that you deserve to have. All right, so if this has been helpful, make sure to go down there, leave us an honest ratings or review. It really helps us continue to get this show out to the right audience, to the people like you that want to continue to improve, that want to continue to take action. If we can do anything for you, go over to jasonyarusi.com. I'd be happy to have a conversation with you. Let's do this.